Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops, and this is a very busy day in the NBA after no hoops the night before. There were 14 games of NBA action, and the biggest story, the main story of the night, is the Houston Rockets, who demolished the Lakers 128-94 to pick up their fourth straight win. The Rockets look really good to start the season. They start off 0-3. A lot of people were like, oh, it's the same old Rockets, but now they've won four straight, beating the Hornets, then beating the Kings twice, and now demolishing the Lakers. So the Rockets are good. You know, I talked about it in the offseason. I said they're making an aggressive playoff push with the signings of Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks, and it appears that that push is paying off because they look great right now. Ime Udoka is doing a great job as the coach, and the two new signings have been doing well, but one of the bigger things is the step up from Alperen Sengun. But let's talk about the guys in this game specifically. So Jalen Green finishes with 28 points in 3 quarters. He hadn't really kind of been playing all that well to start the year, but he put out the message tonight, I'm still here. I'm still, one of the best scorers in the league. He's a really good scoring talent. 11 of 15 from the field, 28 points and 7 rebounds, was a plus 24, was just great tonight for the Rockets. Every time that he plays the Lakers, Jalen Green looks phenomenal. He looks like a all-star, like a solidified all-star talent every time he plays the Lakers. The guy just torches them. But then let's talk about Alperen Sengun, who I'd say has been the Rockets' best player to start the year and has a real case as one of the best centers in the league right now. 19 points in this game to go with 7 rebounds and 4 assists in a really good 8 of 10 shooting. He's been really good this season overall. He's averaging like 19 points and 7 assists. Udoka has really allowed him to be like a lead initiator of the offense when Stephen Silas wouldn't do it. Stephen Silas was definitely holding Alpy back, but he looks great this season. He's trying on defense. He's doing a decent job there, and he's been a great offensive presence. Kind of outplayed Sabonis in their head-to-head matchup. I talked about it already a couple of times, but for a lot of the past year or so, people say there's like 3 levels of the modern passing offensive big man. It's Jokic at the top, then it's Sabonis, and then it's Sengun, but Sengun outplayed Sabonis twice, so maybe Sengun is making his claim that, hey, I'm an all-star now, and no one is closer to Jokic in terms of what he does than I am, and he's really makes a very positive winning impact on this Rockets team. Then we have Dillon Brooks, who only has 5 points tonight, but has been a really solid presence defensively to start the season, has been really efficient from 3 as well for a lot of the year. He's been shooting like 60% from 3. So Dillon Brooks spacing the floor, taking less shots, and playing great defense makes him look worth the contract. I really love what I've seen from Dillon Brooks to start the year. Fred VanVleet, not great in this game in terms of his offense because only 9 points on 2 of 9 shooting, but 10 assists, continues to be a better playmaker than we've seen from him in years past. For the year, he's averaging over 8 assists per game, which I believe would be a career high. He looks really good as a facilitator right now, and this is one of the better Jabari Smith Jr. games we've seen, with 12 points, 4 of 8 from the field to go with 6 rebounds. They also get 14 points off the bench from Jason Tate, but none of the Rockets starters even play 30 minutes because this is a blowout. They won by more points than any of their starters played. So they win by 34, and the highest minutes for a starter was Fred VanVleet with 29. So just a dominant performance from the Rockets. 55% from the field, 42% from 3. They actually didn't shoot well on free throws at just 63%, but overall, really impressive performance from the Rockets. And it looks like kind of the push from Tillman Fertitta, who said we're not going to be a bottom feeder anymore. We're going to go in for the playoffs this next season. It looks like it's working. I mean, Udoka is a great coach. The new kind of duo of VanVleet and Brooks, I would say, are an overall positive impact. And Alperen Sengun is making his case as a top 5 center in the league already. I think if they voted today, I think Sengun would be an all-star. I legitimately believe that. But then looking at a couple of Lakers performers in this game, they don't have Anthony Davis. Yes, that's true. You know, people might say that in the comments. But the Rockets won by 34. This is a good enough team that it's still a statement win to beat them by 34. They still have LeBron, D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, but it didn't matter because the Rockets just owned this game from the start. LeBron finishes with 18 points on 7 of 13 shooting, was a minus 24, which for the season he's been an overwhelming positive, but in this game was not. Reeves continues to struggle to start the year, only 7 points, and their best two performers were pretty easily Rui Hachimura, who had 24, and D'Angelo Russell, who had 22. But the Rockets just look great, man. The Rockets look like a playoff team. 4 straight wins against pretty solid teams. I know the Kings don't have Fox, the Lakers don't have Davis. There's going to be a bunch of excuses, but the Rockets look just much better, much more organized, better coach than they were under Stephen Silas. I think it's a well put together team, and I think Sengun is making a legitimate leap. I think the Rockets are for real, and if Jalen Green keeps playing like this, they could be really dangerous really quickly. But now let's shoot around the league, look at all the other different outcomes, and see what happened on this night of NBA action. So, looking at other action from around the NBA, I want to start us off with Thunder versus Cavs because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was phenomenal tonight. So I'll start us off with that. As the Thunder beat the Cavs 128-120 behind 43 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Cavs get 29 from Caris LeVert, but the Thunder take down a healthier Cavs team than we've seen to start the year. And this is a kind of statement win for the Thunder to say, yes, we are real contenders. They move to 5-3 on the season. Then let's look at, we'll just go from the earliest to the latest. We'll start off with Wizards versus Hornets after the last game. LaMelo Ball with 34 points and 7 assists was really good despite the loss, but the Wizards get 33 and 9 from Kuzma, as well as great performances from a few bench guys. DeLon Wright was really good defensively in this game, and the Wizards move to 2-5, get their second win of the year, and kind of shock people by beating the Hornets. The Pacers continue their good start to the season, beating the Jazz 134-118. Tyrese Halliburton 16 points and 13 assists has just been crazy to start the year. The playmaking from Halliburton is ridiculous. I would say Halliburton is the best playmaker in the league right now. The Jazz get 33 from Clarkson, but they go down. In what would be kind of the marquee matchup of the night, the 76ers beat the Celtics 106-103 to kind of take control of the Eastern Conference and say that we run the East. They lost to the Bucks in the opener, but since that have won 6 games in a row. They get 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks from Joel Embiid. I believe they got 25 from Maxey as well. Kristaps Porzingis, 29 points and 6 rebounds. The Celtics made kind of a furious rally down the stretch of this game to try to get back into it, but the Sixers hold them off and get the win in a big statement win at that. The Nets beat the Clippers 100-93 behind a bunch of points from Lonnie Walker. Let me check that for sure. Lonnie Walker had 21 points from Lonnie Walker, 50% from the field. They get 14 from Cam Thomas, but he went down with an ankle injury, didn't really play pretty much any of the second half. But despite that, losing their best scorer, they still win this game. And the Clippers, the new look Clippers, have a problem. They just haven't looked good. They lose to the Knicks in their first game with Harden, and now they lose to the Nets. Harden wasn't great either, 12 points on 4 of 9 shooting. Paul George was easily the best of the group with 24 points, but even he was well under 50% shooting, 7 of 20 from the field. It just hasn't looked good with the 4 guys with the Clippers so far. Moving on, the Knicks beat the Spurs 126-105 to get back to 500, 23 points and 16 rebounds from Randall, and it seems like Mitchell Robinson is the Wemby stopper because there wasn't much from Wemby tonight, and overall the Spurs just haven't looked good. They got blown out by the Pacers recently, now they get handled by the Knicks. The Spurs did look better in the second half, but still got kind of embarrassed, I would say, and I believe Vassell played in this game even, but it didn't matter. Devin Vassell did not play. No, he did. Devin Vassell played off the bench. 12 minutes for Vassell. Still, not what you want from him because he's not back from the injury yet, really. But still, the Spurs should be more competitive than they've been. It hasn't looked great. The Suns beat the Bulls in overtime, 116-115, in Bradley Beal's Suns debut, and they kind of escaped this one despite trying to give it away a couple of times. The Heat beat the Grizzlies 108-102. The Heat moved back to 500 after that 1-4 start, I believe, but they get 30 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 blocks from Bam Adebayo, who has just been fantastic to start the year. The Bucks beat the Pistons 120-118, despite Giannis Antetokounmpo's ejection from this game. Damian Lillard 34 points and 3 steals really won them this game down the stretch, but shout out to Cade Cunningham with 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. He's totally back. He's been great to start the year. The Timberwolves beat the Pelicans 122-101 behind 26 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals from Anthony Edwards. The Timberwolves look like a top 2 team in the West right now. It's kind of just them and the Nuggets and then everyone else. The Raptors beat the Mavs 127-116 to give the Mavs their second loss of the year behind 31 points and 12 rebounds from Pascal Siakam. And as I'm recording, there are still 2 games going on. The Nuggets are up 3 on the Warriors in the third quarter, and the Trailblazers are up 3 on the Kings also in the third quarter. So if things held, it would be Trailblazers moving to 4-4 and the Nuggets moving to 8-1 to start the season, which would be kind of crazy. But as I always want to do, let's move into the last segment. I know we're running kind of long today, but there were a lot of games. But let's look at the top 5 players of the day according to the Real Sports app, something I always want to do just to get a view of who played the best on any given night. Let's start off with number 1, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 43 points, 7 rebounds, and 68% from the field. Jalen Green at 2 with 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 73%. Scotty Barnes at 3 with 14 rebounds, 14 points, and 7 assists. Great stat line from him. He's been so good to start the year. Grayson Allen at 4 with 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 made threes. And then Luka Doncic at 5 with 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. But that'll do it for this night in the NBA. Another night in the NBA. But thank you guys for watching. Think about subscribing. I'm on the road to 12,000 subscribers. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.